Welcome everybody to episode 37, August edition of AWT Andrew's Wrestling Talk, where we bring you the news and reviews of wrestling around the UK and much more. Now on today's show, I'm on my own. This is because last week we recorded 3/4 of the show with me, Dom, Sparky, my other AWT team members, and it all got corrupted. Don't know why. Probably my fault somewhere along the way, but I don't know what happened. So I'm here on my own to do the show today. So on today's show, we've got loads of things to review on quickly. Plenty of things like CPW that I went to, UPW, Big League Wrestling, quick look over SummerSlam and TakeOver. We got the cool and uncool wall results, which caused a little bit of controversy, by the way. We got what was coming up for us, some upcoming events that maybe you should go to, and of course the Q5 with the unsigned hype, Harlem Bravado, probably the best Q5 I've ever done here on AWT. So let's dive in here to some reviews. NXT TakeOver that was on. I actually thought NXT TakeOver was pretty damn good. I really enjoyed it. And the highlights, some of the best highlights of that night, Asuka versus Ember Moon was an incredible match. Absolutely incredible. Really puts like all the women in the WWE on, on look. Like they need to step up their game after that match. They really do. Also, the tag team title match as well. Sanity walking out tag team champions. Thought that was great as well. A brilliant match for Fish and O'Reilly to attack at the end, making their statement, Red Dragons. And of course at the end, Drew McIntyre, sorry, winning the NXT title from Bobby Roode. Adam Cole came out and attacked him. It's going to make NXT the place to be, I think, at the moment. So, an all-round there for NXT TakeOver. I thought that was fantastic. I really did. Really enjoyed that show. Really good. Moving on to SummerSlam. And SummerSlam, personally, wasn't as good. I don't think really anybody thinks it, any WWE pay-per-view is that good at the moment. Which it isn't. In the kickoff show, why we had Usos versus New Day tag team titles on the pre-show, I don't know. That's bad booking in my eyes. And they've had like some of the best matches in the last few SmackDown pay-per-views. And again, they had like one of the best matches that night, and it was on a kickoff show. Just really disappointing. All the other matches were pretty damn poor, to be quite honest. Like the Miz and the Miztourage versus the Hardys and Jason Jordan wasn't that great. Neville and Kira Tozawa wasn't that really that great either. Cena versus Corbin was just almost boring. Natty versus Naomi was okay. It was an okay match, but like Natty should have won the title like years ago, and had a decent reign years ago. But it's about time. Big Cass and Big Show, I ain't even got anything to say on that because it was pretty poor. Same with Orton versus Rusev as well. That was a really poor. Like that wasn't even a match personally. It was more of a segment. No wonder Rusev wants out of the WWE. Sasha Banks versus Bliss. I would prefer Bliss to have won, even for the fact that Sasha Banks was not meant to be in that match. So don't know what WWE were doing there. Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. I actually quite enjoyed that match. It's good to see the Demon. It's nice to see that they'll bring the Demon once in a while, not like they did on NXT's the takeovers, where they brought him out pretty much every time as the Demon in the takeovers. So it was nice to see the Demon show up at SummerSlam. It was almost a full year, so it's pretty good. The tag team match, the Raw tag team titles, Seth and Dean capturing the tag team titles from Cesaro and Sheamus. I thought that was a good match as well. I thought it was alright. Really well worked. All four men worked well together. Really well. But Sheamus is off doing a movie. So it was kind of, I think everybody, if you knew Sheamus was going off to do a movie, I think everybody would have realised that the tag team titles were changing hands regardless. So AJ and Owens, it's just a repeated match constantly every week. I know they're building to something, but it's something that's been going on for way too long now. I think it needs to end. Mahal and Nakamura was probably one of the most shocking matches of the whole night, personally, for me. Not that I wanted Nakamura to win, because I didn't. It was just a real poor match. But the match that stole the show in the end was that Fatal 4-Way. I'm so glad they had that at the end. That was a cracking match at the end. Brilliant. Great work by Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Strowman and Samoa Joe. Never thought that Brock Lesnar was going to lose the title. And it could have gone anyway. Could have gone anyway. I think once Lesnar had been taken out on the stretcher, I think we all knew that he was going to come back in. He was never going to do the full match, was he, really? No. Why would Lesnar want to do that? It's about time. We shall be moving on to No Mercy, which is a Raw pay-per-view, so we'll be reviewing that next month, sorry. Anyway, that's that out of the way. That's the WWE reviews. To do that in just under 5 minutes, just over 5 minutes, so it's pretty good. Let's move on to what I've been to watch and what we've been at. What we've been at, even though nobody's here with me. But Cornish Pro Wrestling, CPW, returned with a cracking event. Really nice venue, and they had a fun day. And hats off to you, Terry, because you did really, really well with your comeback. Made money off it and everything as well. Fantastic. Really, really well done. Charleston Hotshot Allen defeated Jack Ferrigno. Now, this Jack Ferrigno was a new guy. He's from Belgium. He just wants to wrestle. And that's what I like about some guys. They just want to come and wrestle and show what they can do. Really, really good match. It reminded me a little bit of Hogan versus Andre. The smaller guy versus the bigger guy. Struggling to body slam him and everything. But it was also a little weird because Hotshot Allen was a fan favourite. Not used to seeing that in Charleston. No number one and your number none and no water pistol. So it was a little weird. But he walked out victorious, Charleston Hotshot Allen. So that's one of the first victories I've seen of him for a while. So yeah, that was a great match right there. Yeah, next match. It was meant to be Jason King versus Mad Dog Vinny Clay. We didn't have that match. We ended up having the King's Court, which is Jason King and Adam Flint versus Mad Dog Vinny Clay in a 2-on-1 handicap match. Crowd really did not like Jason King. They were all throwing plastic pasties at him and stuff, which was hilarious. Brilliant. Unfortunately, for Mad Dog Vinny Clay, he was not victorious. And you're not going to be if you're going up against both members of the King's Court. So Adam Flint and Jason King did walk out victorious. At the end of the match as well, Vinny Clay was attacked by Jago, which is a member of Dead Man's Hand from LEP. I didn't quite know what was going on. It was a little bit confusing for some of us. But I was sat next to Blake Harrison, who was there as well, who was just, observing and helping out with the ring and stuff like that, and then sat down and watched the show, and he explained to me what was going on, so it made a bit more sense. So cheers for that, mate. That was great. The main reason why we were there, because I was there with Matt Fry and friends, we were there mainly for Dirty Dick Riley defending the UPW Heavyweight Championship against PJ Jones. I don't really need to talk about this because I actually have the majority of this match that I filmed that night. So, here is that match. Take a watch of some of this. Some of these moves. A great match from Dick Riley and PJ Jones. Take a watch.
Brilliant. Good guys.
Can people stop throwing things into the ring? Thank you.
Go!
Liz. Is this still not out? How is this match not ended yet?
Ladies and gentlemen, because neither of them can reach the count of 10, this match is a draw. That means the belt has not changed hands and neither of them have won or lost. But please, give it up to both PJ Jones and Dirty Dick Riley.
Okay, so welcome back. So the only disappointing thing there is that it ended in a draw. Both men undefeated in CPW. I don't know if I would have booked it like that, but still, they still had a great match, and it was hilarious that they came into the crowd, and UK Dominator took a nice slap to the chest. Yeah, or gave a nice slap to the chest, sorry, of PJ Jones. So that was hilarious as well. Really, really good fun, real good match. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. Then we had the break. So following the break, we had some Russian guy called Dmitry that went up against another guy called Bjorn. I've never seen any of these two guys. The match ended in 30 seconds, If Dimitri had lost, it was an end of a career. It was an end of your career match, which he did lose, and that was the end of his career. I think he's been around in CPW quite a bit. So people were very happy that he had gone. So now he's gone. That was an interesting match. 30 seconds. Roughly about 30 seconds. The CPW trophy was on the line. Marcus Bain was scheduled to defend that trophy against someone. I can't remember who it was now. And called out John Harding instead, who was sat in the crowd, bought a ticket, he was there with his family, his wife and children. After he'd been injured, like I had been to the DWA event like the month before that, and he got himself injured after doing a corkscrew off the top rope in a match against Jason King. Really done some damage to his back. He was back. He had been wrestling the day before, so he said, "Yeah, okay. I tell you what, if the people want me to get in the ring and have this match with you, I'll get in the ring and have this match with you." So he took his shoes off. So he wrestled with no shoes on. He wrestled in just a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. Ended up victorious and beating Marcus Bain for that CPW trophy. At the end of that, he said if anybody wants a shot at that CPW trophy, they are more than welcome to come and have a shot. That goes down the lines of like people like Mad Dog, Vinny Clay and Jason King, and so on and so on and so on. So we'll see what happens there at their next event, which I'll get to in a second. Their main event was a brilliant main event. Chris Andrews versus Adam De Silva. It was great to see Adam De Silva back after his injury from months and months ago now. He had a leg injury. And he was now back in the ring with a new look, like an MMA look. Brilliant. Loving the shorts and everything else that he wore that night. And the only one thing that I'd really like to see is him wear a jacket, like an MMA jacket, as he came out. I think that would be really, really good. Chris Andrews was victorious, but I tell you what, the match that they had was a hell of a match. I think you can watch it on Facebook. You might be able to see some of it on Facebook from CPW, of course. At the end of that match, they had respect for each other, which was great. Adam Silver has said that he was going to be at their next event, and that he will be taking on El Ligero. So, El Ligero versus Adam De Silva at their next event, which is called Pasties and Pow Drivers, on the 19th of November. More on that as the months come up here on AWT. We'll get to that with more closer to the time. Loving the name Pasties and Power Drivers. Loving the name. But that is going to be an epic match. Adam De Silva versus El Ligero is probably going to be Adam De Silva's one of his biggest matches as well. So that's going to be really, really good. Really looking forward to possibly going to that. You never know. Might be able to make the time. So that was CPW Cornish Pro Wrestling. Well done, guys. It's great to see you back, and you did really, really well. So let's keep it up. UPW Unique on the 12th this month. We had an absolutely amazing event. We all had so much work to do that night as well. I did quite a bit myself. I got Q5 with Kelly 6, which I thought was pretty cool. I was on commentary as well with none other than my arch nemesis, Mr. Jason King. To be quite honest, really, like as much as like me and Jason don't get on in the wrestling world, we had a lot of fun that night. We had a real lot of fun that night, and it was a great experience. It's the second time I've been on commentary. I was on commentary for Playtime Is Over, which you can watch on DVD. I'm not sure if it's on the VOD site yet. VOD, yourfightsite.com/channels/ultimate-pro-wrestling. Not sure if it's on there yet. We're having a few issues and stuff, but still, I had a lot of fun. Real lot of fun there with JSK, and I couldn't have picked a better broadcast partner to have been with either. We started off that night with a great segment. We started off with Lord Gideon Gray wanting a heavyweight championship shot, to only be interrupted by Eddie Ryan, who also wanted a UPW heavyweight championship shot, to only be interrupted by the returning Josh Bodum, who also wanted a UPW heavyweight title shot, and the debut of HT Drake, who also came out and said, well, yeah, if everybody else is having a title shot, then I'd like a title shot as well. So Mark Fry got in the ring and told all four of them that if they want a title shot, they're going to need to work for it. So Mark Fry decided that both matches, which was going to be Lord Gideon Gray versus Josh Bodum and Eddie Ryan versus HT Drake, all matches will be qualifying matches, and if you can win your qualifying match, you will move on to Street, which we'll talk a little bit about later on. Street Arrival, UPW Arrival, and you will be in a #1 contenders match. And then if you can win that, you will get your heavyweight championship shot. So, it started off with Lord Gideon Gray and Josh Bodum, and I tell you what a hell of a match to start off a show. Josh Bodum returning, outstanding. With everywhere that he's been recently, with Ring of Honor, Rev Pro, a couple of titles that he's holding in Rev Pro as well, absolutely on top of his game. He's even now running his own show in Strike Wrestling, which is in October. A fantastic, fantastic match. Really, really good. Loving it. And Lord Gideon Gray gave it his all. Saw some new moves as well from Lord Gideon Gray. But Josh Bodum was victorious. So Josh Bodum was one of the guys that moves on now to Arrival in Street in that #1 contenders match. Brilliant. Following that, the next match was Kelly Six making his debut. And Kelly Six came out making his debut. We had no idea who he was going to face, and Psycho Phillips turned up. And again, another hell of a match. Really, really good match. But Kelly Six, you had a tough match in your debut match there against Psycho Phillips. Both men really pulled it out of the bag. He really pushed him to the limit of trying to get that victory out of the match as well. Unfortunately, Kelly Six was not successful in his debut, and Psycho Phillips did walk out victorious. Also Psycho Phillips with brand new music and this mask. Very interesting. New look for Psycho Phillips. We'll see what happens down the line there. And see if we see Kelly Six coming back to UPW. Maybe try it and get a win. We had the tag team match before the interval. We had Hard Knocks taking on TBA, the Brothers Orr, Scott and Joe. And Hard Knocks, Blake and Burchill. A real hard contest. Now, before I move on to big league wrestling, at the time, this was probably one of the hardest matches that the Brothers Orr had gone through. Really hard hitting. Hard Knocks are not two guys that you take lightly at all. They have been tag team champions around the UK themselves, so they have had some hell of tag team experience. The Brothers Orr struggled a lot through that match. Joey had his finger rammed into the turnbuckle tightener and then yanked, and it almost looked like he broke his finger. And as far as my sources tell me, he did hurt his finger. Not fully injured, but he did hurt his finger. Brothers Orr, though, did walk out victorious once again with the roll-up, which seems to be the way forward with the Brothers Orr at the minute. I thought that was literally going to be it, but it wasn't. They all got back in the ring and they all shook hands, which I thought was really good, because I didn't think Hard Knocks would do that. Great respect from Hard Knocks and great respect from TBA. Handshaking. We will see Hard Knocks back in UPW once again. Well, hoping so anyway. Anyway, we had the interval, of course. So I got to have a break, which was nice because my throat was getting sore. But when we came back from the break, Mark Fry got in the ring and called out Big League's president, Lewis Rossiter, to state on Mark's future, on why he's dropped from senior referee and doesn't want to do it anymore for Big League Wrestling. And Mark Fry issued a challenge to Lewis for their event in November, a 5-on-5 elimination Survivor Series type match, which I like to call the 5-on-5 elimination war, because Lewis accepted it, and then out of nowhere Jamie Hayter comes out, bang, and a big low blow to Mark Fry, sending Mark Fry to the ground. Lewis went absolutely crazy, saying that Yeovil is his hometown, I'm not stepping on your grounds, I'm taking over, blah blah blah. Wow, what a segment this was. Lewis picks Mark up and Jamie Hayter goes on and says she is siding with Lewis Rossiter, and bang, a slap round the face for the fact that Mark has not booked Jamie Hayter in such a long time. Wow. Devastated I was. Not shocked. Devastated. Me and Jason King were sat there. I just couldn't. I had no words to say. Absolutely shocking. Really, 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 really devastated on what we just saw. But a 5-on-5. That will be UPW's Grand Slam in November. A 5-on-5. We'll get to that on who the team captains are. And obviously through the months they'll be announced on whose team. Wow. The next match was the other qualified number one contenders. It was H.T. Drake versus Eddie Ryan. The debut of H.T. Drake. And again, another match that just was so hard hitting. Could have gone either way. But the English Lion, Eddie Ryan, did walk out victorious. So, at UPW Arrival, we will have that as your number one contenders match. Eddie Ryan versus Josh Bowden. Or will it? Because apparently, as far as we've known on Facebook, there will be a little twist apparently added into this number one contenders match at UPW Arrival. What could that be? But a great match there from both guys. Next match after that was your ladies match. The returning Connie Steele to go up against the debut of Little Miss Roxy. Now, I'd not seen Little Miss Roxy before. Not live, anyway. Just like I'd not seen H.T. Drake live before, either. And I was very, very impressed. She's very submission-based, very flexible. Great in the ring. But Connie Steele decided to turn on the fans halfway through the match. She wasn't happy. She was getting frustrated. Maybe taking something out of a book here from her mum's side. Yeah, the legendary Klondike Kate. Maybe she needs that ruthless attitude in the ring now, which seems to be the case because Connie Steele was victorious. And believe me, I tell you now, she walked out. Before she walked out, gave her a nice kick in the ribs, and then walked off. I was surprised. All those debuts, Kelly Six, H.T. Drake, Little Miss Roxy, all lost to the UPW guys. Really surprising to see what's going to happen to Connie Steele in the future with UPW as well, on how she's going to react on, how she behaved that night. So we'll only see in UPW. The main event was the UPW Heavyweight Championship, and it was Dirty Dick Riley defending the title against the unique Jake McCluskey. And, wow. This match really could have gone either way. Me and Jason were sat there just in shock, like Dick was kicking out of this and Jake was kicking out of that, and The fight went everywhere. It was such a great match. But Dirty Dick Riley was victorious and did retain his UPW Heavyweight Championship. Mr. Unique. Hats off to you, Mr. Unique. One day, I reckon you will be UPW Heavyweight Champion. But I'm telling you now, what a hell of a match. Both guys really stepped it up and made that event an absolute sellout. Quality match. Real good fun. Can't wait for the next time we're at UPW, which will be UPW Arrival, which we'll talk about in a little while. So moving on to like the next event that we went to, which was a couple of weeks afterwards. It was Big League Wrestling, BLW. Mr. Lewis Rossiter, the president's company. This was in Exeter at the Corn Exchange. Really good event. Really enjoyed myself that night. Got to meet Jack Swagger. So that was great as well. Really nice to meet that guy. I walked into the building, and the first guy that greeted me was Jack Swagger. He shook my hand, he asked how I was, and what a genuine guy. Just like Cody Rhodes. What a genuine guy to have met. Now some guys you meet are really not as genuine as you think they are. A lot of them put on an act. But I tell you what, Jack Swagger, and even likes Cody Rhodes, real genuine guys, really nice people, and they're happy to give advice to the guys that are upcoming. Brilliant, really good. We started off that night with Jake versus Psycho Phillips, which personally, this was one of the best matches I've seen Psycho Phillips in a long while. Backwards and forwards, again, could have gone either way. But then Jamie got on the ropes and Psycho went for a clothesline. Jake moved out the way, knocked Jamie Hayter off the side of the ring, only for her to get back into the ring, and she must love this move, but bang, a low blow to Psycho Phillips, shocking the whole Corn Exchange, and then walking off. Jake hit his moonsault, and Jake walks out victorious. Did not see that coming at all. Shocking events. Shut up, cat. I think the cat is digging around outside. After that match, Bruce, it came out. Big Country. Bruce. He came out and he came out to, state the fact that he wanted to get the band back together with Jake. He wanted to get Liquid Dreams back together. And offered a handshake and stuff, and that kind of stuff. And Jake went for it, which, stupidly, why would you go for something like that? Because he only attacked him, hit him with his finishing move, and then stating the fact that at Grand Slam, they will have their match. It's going to be interesting, very interesting night. At Grand Slam, most definitely. And then Bruce went and sat on commentary with Josh Hayes. See how that turned out. You'll be able to watch Big League, Revolution. I think it was called. Keep getting confused on that one. You'll be able to watch that on the Fight Network. I think it's about $7.99 or something like that, or $6.99. Soon find out. Should be out in September, early weeks of September as well. Their next match was Savvy Sid Scala versus Dirty Dick Riley. Now, to be honest, I wasn't that much of a fan of this match. This match wasn't great. We were there, though. Me, Sparky, Dom, even UPW owner Mark Fry. Or co-owner Mark Fry, sorry. And we were there. We were representing UPW, so we were cheering on Dirty Dick Riley, which I generally don't think Savvy Sid Scala was happy about. But we were going to cheer for our UPW Heavyweight Champion regardless. Though he did walk out victorious, Savvy Sid Scala. He did have the rest of the whole venue on his side. So it wasn't the best match I've seen both guys in either. Especially after watching the UPW Heavyweight Title match with Jake McCloskey. It wasn't the greatest match from both guys. A lot of a lot of like playing against each other, a lot of playing with the crowd as well. But there you go. Now their next match was the Carl Atlas Hardcore Invitational match. Personally, this was probably the best match of the night. Now, I imagine only one person was going to announce it, which was Lion Kid. And they looked like they were about to start the bell, and then Chris Andrews came out, and we had a triple threat hardcore match. Oh wow, what a match! I'm telling you, I couldn't state on how great this match was. We saw tables, we saw chairs, we saw ladders, we saw guitars, we even saw keyboards. Wow, it's such a great match, it really was. I had an awesome time watching that match. Eddie Ryan was sat in the crowd as well, front row, representing UPW as well. Distracting Chris Andrews as well. I guess if he wasn't there, Chris Andrews might have stood a bit more of a chance. But Carl Atlas climbing the ladder, powerbombing Lion Kid through the table. 1, 2, 3, Carl Atlas wins his Hardcore Invitational match. And by the way, that is the match that Carl Atlas is very good at. You put Carl Atlas in a hardcore match, it's going to be one of the best matches. Chris Andrews called Eddie Ryan into the ring and said, right, come on, let's get this over and done with now. Let's sort this out right now. One-on-one, me and you, let's sort this. So Eddie Ryan jumped the barricade. For the whole locker room, well, not the whole locker room, but a majority of the locker room of BLW came out to break it up. Lewis Rosser also came out, grabbing the microphone and saying, no, not tonight, this is not happening on his show. Eddie Ryan, you do not work for Big League Wrestling, not when you work for Botch Promotions. Who are you calling Botch Promotions? Huh? People are calling us now Useless Pro Wrestling. Well, we call you Big League. Boring, laughable wrestling. You can buy these t-shirts at some point as well. Have a look on Facebook, you'll see all of that. So Lewis Rosser decided to make this a unsanctioned street fight. It's going to be very, very good. Cannot wait for that. Unsanctioned street fight. Pretty much it's turning into Big League Wrestling versus UPW match as well. So it's not going to be like, not just a 5-on-5. This has all also got that little twist in there as well. So it's going to be great. We had the break, and then when we came back from the break, we had the Big League Tag Team titles on the line. It was Team GB, the Grizzly Bastards, Dave Mastiff and Big Grizzly, to go up against TBA, the Brothers Orr, Scott and Joe, getting their first ever Tag Team title shot. And I tell you now, after their match with Hard Knocks, this was now their biggest test in wrestling history for their tag team titles. It really got real hard hitting into that ring as well. They come out of the ring and Joey got thrown into the barricades and nearly smashed into some little girl in the crowd as well. It really got heavy. Really got heavy. Kid Ref got knocked down, like Kid Ref always gets knocked down. Scott got out of the ring, picked up the Big League Tag Team title and went to hit. It was either Dave Mastiff or Big Grizzly. I can't remember which one it was now. He was going to smack him around the face with the belt, and Joey was trying to stop him, saying, no, we don't work like that. We don't do things that way. And after a good 5 minutes of arguing in the ring, Scott decided to put the belt down. A distraction again for Team GB to get the victory and walk out still tag team champions. They offered out a handshake as well. Dave Mastiff and Big Grizzly. The Brothers Orr did not shake their hands. They walked off with a straw, with anger, not happy at all. It's the first time I'd ever seen the Brothers Orr walk out with this type of attitude as well. Very, very surprising. We'll only ever see what happens there if they come back to Big League. Will they represent Big League or will they represent UPW? We'll only see later on. in the coming months. Their main event was Jack Swagger versus Harlem Bravado. Now, the match started off quite slow, to be honest. I thought this was going to be like one of the best matches. I was kind of wrong. It was a great match, by all means. It was a great match. Two guys with very, very similar styles. It was the ankle lock versus the figure of four, apparently. As Jack Swagger told me in the meet and greet, he told me as well that it was the ankle lock versus the figure of four. But like as the match went on, it got more hard hitting. It was great. It was a great match. Real good match. And Swagger got thrown into the steps and sliced his arm. All his forearm right up. Blood gushing out everywhere. Again, this event had turned out to have been like a real, a real hard event for a lot of guys. That hardcore match was outstanding. And then Jack Swagger bleeding. Wow. After 4 ankle locks, Harlem Bravado did finally tap out. But I think Harlem Bravado was hoping to win that match because he wants a shot at the Big League Heavyweight Championship. As like we found out later on in that press conference, I was in that press conference as well, where Lewis Rossiter announced who his Big League team captain will be for the 5-on-5. And it is none other than one half of the Big League Tag Team Champions, Big Grizzly. Wow. Big Grizzly going to be the team captain for Big League Wrestling. For only a couple of days later, UPW co-owner Mark Fry announced that his team captain is the other half of the Big League Tag Team Champions, Dave Mastiff. Dave Mastiff, by the way, is all about the money. All about the money. And Big Grizzly put up a state saying that brothers will fight, and stuff like this. Dave will always go where the money is, obviously. So, it doesn't mean nothing to Big Grizzly. It won't break them up as a tag team, so on and so on and so on. So, there are your two big, yes, team captains for each team of UPW and Big League. What a story and a war this is going to turn out to be in the coming months. If you're a fan of both, or even just a fan of one, you are in for one hell of a ride. Believe me, one hell of a ride. But the next time Big League have an event is in November the 26th at Yeovil, Westlands, and it will be Grand Slam. I have the card here, and we will have Jake versus Bruce, which has been brewing for so many months now. The unsanctioned street fight between Eddie Ryan and Chris Andrews. Jamie Hayter will be in the first ever Big League Women's Championship match, and she will be facing, well, not a mystery opponent, it's just not been announced yet. Negotiations, I think, are still going. Alberto El Patron will be defending his Big League title against someone as well. Still not been announced just yet. And of course, Team Big League versus Team UPW. It's going to be a very, very interesting night. I don't know what kind of part I'm going to have in this. Though I have been Facebooking on like things, that have been coming up on Big League saying, maybe I should invade and turn up as your commentator to join Harlem Bravado and Josh Hayes on the commentary table for the 5-on-5. Never know what can happen. You never know. I may turn up. You never know. You'll have to watch it. You'll be able to watch it live as well on the Fight TV network. It's going to be streaming live. First time ever. So it's going to be great. We will see what happens there. So join me after the break, and we will go through some upcoming events that's going on in September, and and just the one event, unfortunately, that we will be doing in September as well. So we'll see you in a minute. Okay, so welcome back. After my little advert there. I always like trying to stick in a little advert or something like that. I do like doing that. Let's move on to some upcoming events we've got going on in September. Progress Wrestling have got an event on the 10th of September, chapter 55. Chase the Sun, it's called. But it's in London. Don't bother trying to buy a ticket because they're sold out. But it's going to be a cracking event, as they always are with Progress Wrestling. Also, Hope Wrestling have got an event on the 1st of September, which is in a couple of days, in Derby, and it's called A Tournament of Absolutely No Death, We Hope. So yeah, that's going to be it's going to be interesting. Plenty of people on that card. Don't forget to check all these out on Facebook. Fire Nation and IPW have got an event on the 22nd of September in Canterbury. Lucha Forever have got 3 events going on in September. So they got one in Cardiff on Sunday the 17th of September. Something Mania, it's called. It's got Joey Ryan on the cover. And CCK. I'm not a fan of Joey Ryan, as we know. Also Lucha Live 7 on Tuesday the 26th of September in Manchester. And also Lucha Live 8, Never Touch Another Man's Umbrella. It's on Wednesday the 27th of September in Southampton, which I actually really wanted to go to, but I'm not sure I'm able to do that now. But I love the name, Never Touch Another Man's Umbrella. That'll be down to Kip Sabian touching Marty Scal's umbrella for Lucha Forever event. Torquay Wrestling, LAP. On the 23rd of September at the Windmill Centre. Some very interesting stuff going on in LEP. I'm hoping maybe one day I can get to an LEP event. I'm sure I'll make one this year at some point. General Manager John Joe. Actually, I'll talk a little bit about that in the news of what I've seen on Facebook recently of what happened at their recent event. Very interesting. I'm liking the way that it's going. I'm liking the story plan that they've got here. Maybe not so much for John Joe Aubrey though. Maybe not so much. Chaos Wrestling have got an event called The Sound of Violence on the 23rd of September also. This will be in Thornbury, the Leisure Centre. Now, Chaos's last event that they had, Unleashed, they brought in like 600 people plus, something like that, and what an event they had. But one of the big highlights, 2 of the biggest highlights actually that night, was Big Grizzly went on to face a mystery opponent, and that mystery opponent was the original Badman Bino. And then after the match, the original Badman Bino defeated Big Grizzly and then ran off with his Head to the Throne briefcase. Don't leave your briefcase lying around when the original Badman Bino's around. Plus, Morgan Webster lost his Kings of Chaos Championship to Eddie Dennis, which means that Flash Morgan Webster had to leave Chaos Wrestling. And Alex Steele, who was also in that match that didn't get pinned, can't have a title shot for a year. So that's interesting right there. Unfortunately there for Alex Steele, he can't have a shot now for a year. And Morgan Webster has had to leave. I wonder why. Keep those eyes open on Flash Morgan Webster. You never know where he might turn up one day. Events for us. So events for us that we're going to. The one that we've got going on in September, on September the 15th, will be UPW Arrival in Street at the Strode College Sports Centre. Now, it's probably going to be one of our... I'm going to say it's going to be one of our biggest events in history. We've got 5 or 6 debuts, something like that. I can't wait. But the first match that we announced was a tag team match, and it will be Charleston Hotshot Allen teaming up with Kip Sabian to go against the hottest tag team in the UK right now, CCK. Chris Brooks and Kid Lycos. And you may look at this and you may think, oh, Charleston Allen and Kip Sabian teaming up. Really? Do you know what? The two together it's gonna be a clash of egos. It's gonna be a clash of the hot shot and the super bad. Believe me, people, it's gonna be a great match. Believe me. Charleston's gonna need to step his game up. That's right. The second match that we had announced will be the rematch. Finally, Yestin Reese has cashed in his rematch for the UPW Heavyweight Championship against Dirty Dick Riley. We haven't seen Yestin Reese in a while. The last time we saw Yestin Reese was at Crossroads when he had his match with Cody Rhodes, which was an outstanding match. He is back, and he will be back for that UPW Heavyweight Championship match. You want to know what happens? Buy those tickets on www.upwuk.bigcartel.com. Buy those tickets. Come and see that event, because not just that, you know, not just that either. I mean, we've got so much more going on that night as well. We've got the return of Aisha Ray, which is great. Who will she go up against? Don't know. She's got a mystery opponent, fresh off the Mae Young Classic, which I haven't watched yet, which is available to watch now on the WWE Network. I haven't watched that yet. We'll watch it. Can't wait to see her get back in the ring. Returning home to UPW. Fantastic. And also, thanks to us here, in association here with AWT, we brought in the returning of Marty Skrull. That's right. The man from the Bullet Club, the villain, is returning to UPW. Thanks for a little bit of help and work here from AWT to bring him over. He will be taking on the star attraction, Mark Haskins. I couldn't have booked a better match ever in our lives. No way. Such a great match. History is completely written all over it. The past that they have, these two as well, is crazy. They've had matches in Lucha Forever, Fight Nation, Progress. I guess the list goes on and on where they've had matches. So UPW finally going to be bringing that match in. It's probably as well. Personally, could be match of the night. Plus we have the number one contenders match with the added little twist to it. What is this little twist? Is it are they going to add another opponent? Are they going to turn it into a stipulation match? Who knows? You'll find out if you keep your eyes open on UPW's Facebook page. Keep up for those announcements and everything that's going on for UPW Arrival. Plus, there are 2 exclusive meet and greets. That's right. Just for £10, you can meet Marty Skrull, the Bullet Club member, the villain, Marty Skrull. That's a great price. Why would you not do it? So get on there and buy him. Also, we got a meet and greet as well, which is also £10 with CCK, the hottest tag team in the UK at the moment. Chris Brooks and Kid Lycos. I don't think we could pull off a bigger event at the moment, so this is going to be amazing. So get those tickets on Big Cartel, get your asses down to Street, and come down and watch UPW Arrival. Now, some other events that we have got planned. Nothing planned at the minute for October, but in November, we've obviously got Big League Wrestling BLW Grand Slam, which is in November, which is on November the 26th. That's already set for us to be going and doing that and stuff like that. But there are 2 events on November the 12th. Now, Fight Nation, that apparently will be at the Weymouth Pavilion on the 12th of November. And as far as I know, Dom and Sparky, who normally sit here, are going to that event. I'm not going to that event. I'm going to go to Fight Star Sports Entertainment, which is going to be on in Ferndale on November the 12th. I was offered by James Riley, Jay Knox, to come down, do some interviews, some other stuff as well, maybe. I'm always happy to help. If you do need my help, anybody needs my help, all they got to do is contact me here on AWT. I'm quite happy to get out there and do everything. You know, get out there, help, do plenty of stuff and all that. Definitely going to go in there and get a load of interviews. As I need them. Q5s. I'm running out of Q5s at the moment. Speaking of Q5s though, let's move on to the Q5 with the unsigned hype, Harlem Bravado. Probably the biggest Q5 I've ever done. There he is up there. Harlem Bravado. This is probably, like I said, the best one I've ever done. Now normally my Q5s go on for about 5 to 6 minutes. This is 10 minutes long. I added a couple of things, like as we were talking. It was more of the chat than it was just the Q5. He was such a pleasure to do this with as well. I'm just so happy. First international guy as well on my Q5. So guys, watch this now. This is amazing. Q5, Harlem Bravado. So welcome everybody to another edition of the Q5 with none other than my special guest. It's Harlem Bravado.
Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. You are my first international star on my Q5, so this is a huge Q5 right here.
I almost cussed. Can I cuss on this thing? Yeah. I almost did. I'm sorry. For any children watching this, I might say a bad word. Please forgive me.
Alright, well, let's go with question one then.
Question one.
Where did it all begin for you as a pro wrestler?
As a pro wrestler?
Yeah.
Okay, so I attended the Ring of Honor Wrestling Academy.
Oh, wow.
In October of 2008. Under the head trainer at that time, Delirious.
Oh, right, yeah.
But we had always like a steady influx, like whenever the school's located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So whenever they had shows, you know, they have shows there often in Philadelphia, New York,
yeah,
Delaware, that region. So we'd always have people come in doing seminars like Cole Cabana, Nigel McGuinness, Daniel Bryan, Austin Aries, right? Like all of the top guys at that time, right?
Names go up there.
Exactly, yeah. Chris Hero,
yeah.
Claudio Castagnoli. Just all the guys that I looked up to was like, man, like if I could ever have a match half as good as these guys are putting on, like I would, you know, I'd be proud. But yeah, I was lucky and I was fortunate to grow up in that environment and to learn. And they were always giving advice. They were always there to lend a helping hand. Yeah. You know, if your confidence was lacking, if you're, you know, whatever the case may be, they're always there for you. So they, you know, it was at that time the Ring of Honor locker room was just more of like a family than, you know, a business. It was really nice, a nice environment to learn and cut your teeth in, because they also, you know, if you suck, they tell you suck. And it's a good thing to have. Sometimes it's good.
Sometimes it's the best way.
For sure.
You want an honest opinion, don't you?
For sure, and they would give it to you. Sometimes brutally honest, but you know, that's what it takes to get better.
That's the way it is sometimes. So, question two: who inspired you to be the pro wrestler that you are today?
Do you mean like my style, or like who just inspired me?
Your style, your character, just the way that you are in the ring, maybe.
Okay, so there's a lot. So when I was a kid, and still my favorite wrestler is Sting. Like, always the face paint, always the colors. Like, I was just like, Sting can never do any wrong, and he hasn't done any wrong. So Sting, I mean, my style isn't patterned after Sting or anything, but just like, I was just like, man, when I was a kid, he just, you know, he captures your imagination. Like any Ultimate Warrior.
He was the guy that wanted to get in the ring.
Exactly.
This guy, yeah.
And I remember one time telling my grandma that I was going to be a pro wrestler because the Four Horsemen were beating up Sting and nobody came to help him.
So I was like, I gotta help him.
I was like, I gotta be a pro wrestler so I could help Sting, because Ric Flair has just turned on him 4 or 5 times. He never learns. They're always beating him up, you know, 4-on-1. So I was like, I gotta be a pro wrestler so I can help Sting. And that offer is still on the table with Sting. So if the Four Horsemen jump you anytime soon, I got your back.
You never know. You never know in wrestling.
Just give me time.
Really do.
Just give me time to paint my face, because in my childhood fantasy, I also had my face painted. So just give me a little notice, Sting, please, and Flair, before you beat him up. Just give me a little notice, please.
That's awesome right there. So, future plans. What do you think the future holds for you?
Okay.
From now on.
The thing about pro wrestling is nothing's for sure.
No.
The pro wrestling landscape, especially now, is just changing so much. I took a gamble on myself by coming here. You know what I mean? Like, I had the security and the places that I worked in America that, you know, were happy to have me and would always give me work. But it's just, if you stay in one place for too long, you kind of get stagnant. So I chose to come over here for an extended period of time and just learn, get in the ring with new guys, learn some of the British style, step in the ring with guys like James Mason who have been around since the World of Sport days and could just, I've always wanted to, I never wanted to be the best wrestler, like that's not, because the best is so subjective, like who I think's the best and who you think's the best and who you think's the best, we all probably got varying opinions.
Oh, definitely.
Because it's not, you can't judge it,
no.
like it's just your opinion. But you can judge how well-rounded somebody is. So I've always just wanted to be the most well-rounded professional wrestler I could be. Like when I trained in Japan, I've wrestled in China, I've wrestled in, like so many different countries that you pick up a little bit each. Like I wrestled in China that hasn't seen live pro wrestling in a very long time. So like you learn there, you learn like what do people understand, what like to the untrained eye, what does, because wrestling fans now have seen it all.
Yeah.
These people have seen nothing.
I think it was brilliant that not long ago we saw you turn up on, what was it, Matt Hardy's Total Non-Stop Deletion or something, and you were in the Apocalypto Tag Team match and I couldn't believe it.
Just like I said, man, you gotta
you never know what happens.
That's why that's a very hard question to answer about what's next. If you would have asked me 3 months before I did Tag Team Apocalypto if I was going to be doing it, I would have said absolutely not. But the opportunity arose. So, as long as it's pro wrestling related, I don't mind. If it was WWE, fine. If it was, the smallest company in the world, fine. I just want to wrestle.
Well, coming here, we are at the minute. We are going up
it's
and
booming.
up and up and up, and UK wrestling is becoming a huge thing right now.
No, I 100% agree. And like, I saw that Money Train leaving. I said, "Don't leave without me." So, here I am on the UK scene. Yeah, it's good and it's booming and like tonight sold out.
Oh, yeah.
Like every show I do is just like sold out, sold out, sold out. I've had. This is my 5th show this week. All of them have been sold out. And tomorrow we're going to be...
I was going to say, we got another one tomorrow. It's for the big league.
So it's just... First of all, I wouldn't be wrestling 6 times in a week in America.
No.
Also, those houses wouldn't be sold out.
No.
So, like, that's why I'm here. Like, people have asked me, like, tonight a lot of people, like, fans and other wrestlers were like, what made you come here? Why are you here? That's the answer.
It's a new scene.
Yeah.
New scene in wrestling. So,
I'm surprised. I'm honestly surprised more people haven't taken advantage of it. I'm surprised more Americans haven't came over. I mean, they come over
we've
from time to time.
had a few that's come over, and then a lot of them have gone back now as well, because now they've kind of hit more of a mainstream in their character, and now they're being called back into America. Yep. So, there we go. Anyway, question 4: dream match. Anybody, anywhere, for anybody. It's a real tricky one. I love getting this one.
So since let's go back on one of the questions earlier. Me and Sting, faces painted, all the whole thing, versus Ric Flair and Arn Anderson. It's Starrcade.
That's Starrcade. Look at that. Now that is a nice one right there.
I'm from the South, man. I'm from the South. I grew up on WCW.
Yeah.
Starrcade was way bigger than WrestleMania to me. Yeah. Like WrestleMania was cool, but when Starrcade came.
It was always something different.
Yeah, and my dream was never wrestle for WWE. My dream was wrestle for WCW. Obviously, I'll never get that chance.
No, unfortunately.
But when I was a kid, I was like, I'm gonna be a pro wrestler, and I'm gonna wrestle for WCW because it's awesome. But I don't have that opportunity now.
Sting. So dream match, Sting, wonderful. So, the biggest highlight of your career so far. Final question.
Man.
And you've had some historical moments.
Yeah, and I'm not like. I don't have any kind of ego. Like I have done some really cool things, but it's hard. Like you because the thing about goals is like you reach one goal and you're like, okay, but now I want to do this, and now I want to do this, now I want to do this. Like we were the longest reigning, like my brother and I, we were the longest reigning Dragon Gate USA tag team champions. That was impressive. We had the most successful title defenses in the title's history. That was cool. Anything I can show my brother, that's awesome. Like. Wrestling in the Hammerstein Bar, wrestling in the ECW arena, just like wrestling in Corrigan Hall, wrestling in, just all these things like you do, and you're like, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? So it's hard to pick the best one or the biggest highlight. One thing that was cool is we had a show for Ring of Honor, and we wrestled in the Greensboro Coliseum, which is where I always went as a kid. Yeah. Like my grandma would always take me and my brother. To watch wrestling in Greensboro Coliseum all the time, and then that was kind of cool. Like as a personal highlight, not as a career highlight, but as a personal highlight. Yeah. I would say probably wrestling for Ring of Honor in the Greensboro Coliseum because it's just where I always went and I always saw these larger than life characters But then I was like, man, I'm wrestling in the Greensboro Coliseum. It's just, life comes full circle sometimes. So
That's it. That's your dream that's come
Yeah,
true
man.
there as a child.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you don't have to make $1 million in wrestling
No.
for your dreams to come true and for you. I'm a happy person, and I'm happy with everything that we've accomplished so far. So.
Well, my dreams come true right now by just interviewing you guys. Do you know what I mean? So that's my dream there that's come true right there.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much for having me. I have been your host, Carl Andrews. This has been Harlem Bravado, and I shall see you on the Q5 next time. Okay, welcome back. I hope you guys really enjoyed that, because I tell you what, I thoroughly enjoyed it as well. And at the end of it, I think it cut off at the end, but he actually wants me to bring 5 more questions to him and interview him again. I'm like so well up for that. I really am. I just got to come up with 5 questions. I tell you what, if anybody's actually got any ideas or got any questions, what I might do is just interview Harlem Bravado again. But you'll have to come up with some questions, maybe send them to me on Facebook. You know, send them to me privately, Carl Andrews, or send them to me here on AWT. I'll put a status up or something like that maybe. And let's get Harlem Bravado back on the Q5, or just in for an interview, because it was such a pleasure to be on. Really, really was. Really, really grateful to that guy. Big fan. Big fan. The next time I have a Q5, in September's edition of AWT, it will be with Kelly 6. That's right. I got this at UPW Unique. So Kelly 6 joins me on the Q5. This was actually really good as well. I didn't know anything about Kelly 6 at all. So if you don't know anything about Kelly 6 either, watch this Q5 next month, because this is brilliant as well. It really shows like how far he's come in the wrestling business. Really, really good. Really, really good. Also as well, actually, let's bring this up now instead of bringing it up later. TWS, Total Wrestling Show, hosted by, you know, Dan Barnstable and Sybil and Tony and everybody else, and Brothers Orr and Kieran and Lissy. But I'd really give it to Dan, because you want to hear some more interviews. Get on to TWS and listen to their interviews. They've just recently had one with Aisha Ray, which I'm hoping as well to possibly get her on a Q5 as well. But they've had interviews as well with like Bram and Cody Rhodes. And the list goes on, to be honest. And I really give it to you guys. I really do. I love listening to the TWS interviews. I really do. Really, really good. Just get on there and follow them on Facebook and go to their links and listen to their interviews, because those interviews are brilliant. They really are. Get on it, people. Get on it. Also, me and Dan had this idea that we're going to try and pull off. We're going to try and pull this off together, I think, instead of me trying to do it on my own. So, like, Xavier Woods and Kofi and Big E do a little thing called Up, Up, Down, Down, which I'm sure everybody's watched. I talk about what they've recently done, like the night before SummerSlam as well. But we want to do something like that. So I mean, I'll come in and I'll host. I might even just sit there with Dan as well. Dan could come in and host it with me as well. And we're gonna get some of the guys on there to play some video games. I mean, I've done stuff like that anyway. AWC plays, where we've played video games, or I've sat there and played video games. But we're going to do some like competition stuff, so maybe we could do something like Up, Up, Down, Down. If any of you guys out there have got any names that I could call this, because I don't really want to call it AWT Plays, because that's not what it is. Maybe we call it Left, Right, or Right, Right, Left, Left. I don't know, but let's, I want to hear your guys' ideas on like what we could call this. So yeah. We want to do something like that and bring it to UPW and get some of the guys to get on there. Maybe we could get like Legion of Lords and TBA and And the list goes on, and Dirty Dick Riley and everybody else. Let's get them all on there. Let's play some video games. Let's have some competitions and see what we can come up with. I think it's going to be real good fun. So yeah, that's some more ideas that we've got here going on. And now let's move on to the one thing that I always love to do. Well, I did love to do, and that is the cool and uncool wall. So, I mean, this month on the cool and uncool wall was Grado. Now, like, I'm going to be straight with everybody. My cool and uncool wall is a vote, not a place for discussion. Because, like, I've had, like, issues with my cool and uncool wall in the past. I've had one removed from Facebook because of two guys that got really, really funny about it and really went at me about it. I also had one when I did Jason King, and I had a fan on there that really went into like a personal hatred towards Jason King. I don't tolerate that at all. And the same happened here with Grado. We ended up having arguments on there, and like that's it now. Like I'm gonna try and remove like the comments from a cool and uncool wall. If I can't do it, then I'll give it one more shot, and if it happens again, then I'm cutting it, to be honest, because like I don't want people fighting. I know it's opinions, but sometimes it's best to keep your opinions to yourself. But anyway, I counted the votes in, which I didn't actually have that many because I cut it and I took it off. But the votes that I did have, it comes back as uncool. That's right. That's scratching outside, by the way, is my turtle, or my tortoise. He's on a rampage. That's right, Grado, you are uncool. I'm sure the guy, like generally the guy himself is, you know, probably like a generally nice guy. I'm not saying that. I'm not a fan of the character at all. A lot of people are not a fan of the character. So, there you go with that one. For the next time on the cool and uncool wall, let's try and keep this one with just a vote, please. And let's do this with Enzo Amore. That's right, Enzo Amore. Is he cool or uncool? I'm not a massive fan of Enzo Amore. I didn't mind when it was Big Kaz. Enzo Amore and Big Kaz, I didn't mind them when they were a tag team. On his own, I think he's a bit much. We'll see what happens as he's like moved on now. He's moved on to like 205 Live. He had his weigh-in recently, as I've seen on the exclusive on WWE Network. He was 201, I think, or something like that. But he's now on 205 Live. I think that's the best place for him as well. I don't think he should be on the main roster. I think he'll just get battered. It was either that or moving into NXT. But even if he moved into NXT, I think he's going to get battered as well. So yeah, Enzo Amore, is he cool or uncool? We'll be posting that up through the month of September. So news. Let's move on to some news. Loads of news here. At SummerSlam, before SummerSlam started, like I was just about to say, in the up, down, down, they had a Rocket League competition. Oh my god, I watched the whole thing. It was hilarious. It was brilliant. Not only that they just had a tournament, they even had Rocket League tag team titles made, which was won by Adrian Neville and Sasha Banks. Just so funny, so funny. If you haven't watched it, try and watch it. I don't know if it's WWE exclusive on their Facebook site. Go to Up, Down, Down and have a look. Really good. And those tag team titles are actually quite nice. I quite like them as well. Really, really good. We put our best wishes out to Ric Flair. If he's getting any better, I haven't heard any more news on him. Get well soon, Mr. Flair. Hopefully we'll see you back and you'll be healthy. Yeah. So let's hope that he'll make a speedy recovery and he'll be back soon. Well, just, you know, back up and standing, not back in the ring, of course. GWF had stripped Alberto El Patron of the GWF title, GFW title. Sorry, I get that mixed up so much. Why? It's like it could go on. To be honest, I'm not really going to go too deep into it. But they did have a battle royal to determine who was going to be the new one, and personally I was quite happy with the result, with the fact that it was Eli Drake. A lot of people don't like this, but I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I like Eli Drake. He's a good character. He cuts good promos. He's good in the ring. What more can you ask for? We also send our wishes out to Sky Smithson, representing you today with your t-shirt. Get well soon, if you had a injury as well from an event that you were at. Yeah, let get well soon, Sky. We want to see you back in the ring. So, get well soon from AWT. Keeping on injuries at the minute, obviously Asuka is also injured. Big Kaz is injured as well. And as far as I'm aware as well, Xavier Woods is injured as well. Big Kaz could be out for a while. Asuka is definitely out for a while. She's relinquished her title, so don't know what they're going to be doing with the NXT Women's title now. So yeah, a lot of injuries going around. Aside from an injury, if anybody's wondering where Mike Kanellis-Bennett is, apparently Maria had put up that he is recovering at the moment from a prescription drug addiction. No, I didn't know about that. Apparently he's had a knee injury and rib injuries and stuff like that, and now is in recovery to get himself off prescription drugs. That's a hard thing, coming off prescription drugs. I can imagine what it's like to come off it. So yeah, get well soon again to Mike Kanellis-Bennett. Not like too keen on like your power of love gimmick, but it's good to see that he finally made it to the WWE. So let's hope he returns very, very soon. Bobby Roode has gone up to SmackDown. I think that's great news. Great news. Glorious news. as we say. And of course, Enzo Amore is on 205 Live and John Cena has moved on to Raw. So all of those little things, like John Cena moving to Raw, Bobby Roode losing the title, Adam Cole coming in, was all leading to the fact that Bobby Roode was going up. And beat the hell out of Aiden English. So, actually, as well, I missed one out here. But going back to injuries, as I saw recently, Sexy Star and Rosemary at Triple Mania at AAA, I think they call it, don't they? Really? Well, just really? Like, if that's how you're going into the ring, and that's how you're doing business for yourself, you don't deserve to be in the ring, to be honest. Do you really? That's not. The wrestlers go into the ring with an amount of trust with each other to keep each other safe with the moves that they're doing. Why do you think they tell you not to try this at home? Because, you know, they're all trained athletes, performers, entertainers. The list goes on. Sexy Star as far as I know, has been removed from from a lot of events. Terrible. I'm a huge fan of Rosemary as well. She put up that Sexy Star was alive because apparently Sexy Star didn't know. She didn't realise that she was doing that. Apparently she was just, you know, just going on with the match or something like that. Bull is what I say to that. Bull. So yeah, get well soon, Rosemary as well. Loads of injuries going on. Loads of injuries, people ill. I had a Facebook message the other day from Sarah Hatch for Ladies of the Squared Circle calendar. This is a charity for the EVA appeal, which is women's cancer. So this is a calendar that should be out in November. If you go on their Facebook page, you'll be able to buy like badges and stickers at the moment for like £1 and £3. £1 for stickers, £3 for the badge, or the other way around. People that are on this, girls that are on this calendar, have all been announced, I think. Rihanna O'Reilly, Polly Anna, Nightshade, Violet Vendetta, Livy Grace, Zoe Lucas, Katie Harvey, Erin Angel, Lauren Sanders, Aisha Ray, Kat Von Cage, and Tony Storm. This is a great cause, guys, as well. So get on there. I think the calendar, like I said, will be available in November. We'll keep advertising this every single week. It's a brilliant cause for women's cancer. So I'm most definitely going to be buying one. You guys should be buying one as well. Get on there as well and buy a sticker and a badge. I think it's definitely well worth the cause. Definitely. So I'm glad she, came to me. Don't get many people messaging me, asking me to do this and do this. So that was really nice. So yeah, I'm always happy to help. So there we go. I'm definitely going to be buying the calendar. We shall be putting it up in the AWT studio once we get it as well in November. We will have No Mercy. We will have Lesnar versus Strowman. Who is looking forward to that match? Because I'll tell you what, I am. Let's just hope it's going to be a half decent match as well. I don't know what else is going to happen in No Mercy. But also, I'm going to say this, even though this only happened on Monday night, but Jeff Hardy won the Battle Royal to become the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. Well done, my friend! Like, he is like my idol, really. Other than Shawn Michaels. I'm so happy that he's the #1 contender for the Intercontinental Championship. That's great news. In LEP, right, so limited edition pro wrestling, I think they call it. Torquay Wrestling. They had an event on, and once the event was said and done, like they had like the LEP Academy title was on the line. Blake Harrison defending the title against, I'm going to say Jago. I could be wrong. I didn't write that down actually. I should have written that down. Shame on me. At the end of the match, Dead Man's Hand came out because apparently, like, even Blake Harrison's a member of Dead Man's Hand, so like the title would have stayed in Dead Man's Hand either way. John Joe Obery, which is the GM of LEP, was put through a table, and then the leader, the voice behind Dead Man's Hand, revealed himself to only be the owner, Danny Walsh. That's actually quite shocking, to be honest. It's quite a shocking story. I'd love to have been there and seen all of that and see how all of that went down. I seen this because of John Joe's Facebook message and a couple of fans that have put up about it. And see what happens in the future in LEP. Like I said, one day I will make myself available to get to an LEP event. So, interesting story going on there. The winner of the WCPW Pro Wrestling World Cup was Kushida. Did anybody see that coming? I personally thought we were going to end up with Will Ospreay as the champion. I really did. Or even like Ricochet. But no, Kushida. So they went a completely different way. I would have thought as like WCPW being an English promotion was going to have an English winner. But Joseph Connors was in that as well, and I'm not sure how he ended up in it. I don't know who was taken out of it or who wasn't available or whatever. But Joseph Connors has returned. So, but why has he returned? That is the big question. Why has he returned? I think he's returned because this whole UK WWE thing that's going on has fallen apart. They've done no show over here other than the tournament and then some other one-off show. The only guys you ever see, and you've seen them recently on NXT, are Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, Wolfgang, and the champion Pete Dunne. You ain't even seen Mark Andrews recently either. But maybe they are the only 5 that's been taken, and the rest haven't. So, it's interesting to see what will happen over that. But why is Joseph Connors back? Maybe because WWE dropped him, which they shouldn't have, because he's a class-ass athlete. I love Joseph Connors. Brilliant. Anyway, there is all your news, and that's everything that I have here today on AWT. Real shame that I didn't have it from last week, because we were having some like great discussions between like me, Dom, and Sparky on like stuff that had been going on. Yeah, it was a real shame that last week's was just a disaster. It just, I don't know what happened, corruption. Let's hope it doesn't happen again now once like I've stopped the video and tried to sort it all out. I did go into a couple of more tests and stuff, and it seems to be working fine, so let's hope. Let's hope. And it will be posted very, very later on. Yeah, that's pretty much it that I have here for you today on AWT, Andrew's Wrestling Talk, episode 37, your August edition. So join me next month for episode 38. Oh yeah, also, I don't know how I nearly forgot this. But we're coming up to 1 year at the end of September. So at the end of September, we will probably be celebrating 1 year of AWT. Can't believe I've even made 1 year. I can't believe it. I'm absolutely amazed at myself on how far I've come. Not just with the show, but like in my career itself. Like 1 year ago, I had nothing to do in professional wrestling. Now, I do so much in professional wrestling. And when I mean so much, I mean a lot. I've done loads recently. I've been on commentary, I sort music, I advertise, I promote, I've been helping out, setting up rings, setting up venues, generally helping anybody else out that needs it, getting interviews from guys. I've really made something of myself this past year, and like it's all thanks to all of you that watch me on the other end here. You know, all my fans and people that the wrestlers that watch and everything and everybody else. It's I really appreciate everything that you guys have done for me. One guy that I extend my thanks to is Mark Fry, who gave me an opportunity, and I took that ball and I ran with it, and look what I've got today. I've got so much more going on now these days, and we've even become a part of UPW now. Funding, like I said, we funded, so we've got Marty Scale coming over. We helped with that to make that like even more of a bigger show than it already was. So yeah, there we go. So thank you everybody. We are coming up to 1 year in September, so join us next month in September for the September edition, episode 38. 1 year of AWT. We have the Q5 with Kelly 6. Hopefully my whole team will be here with me next time. May even try and get a special guest being 1 year of AWT. You never know. Plus obviously the usual cool and uncool wall and everything else. The review on UPW's arrival. Loads of stuff going on. So, I have been your host, Carl Andrews, and I will see you next time. Thank you guys for watching. Take care. See you next time.